Win big in 2025 with Team Sync from RotoBaller. Import your fantasy teams and sync your leagues. Get customized tools and tailored advice for your specific rosters and scoring settings, including live recommendations from the Live Draft Assistant, Free Agent Finder, and Lineup Optimizer. Sync an unlimited amount of NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL fantasy teams from all of the major fantasy platforms. Get a discount for any premium pass using my promo code Knuckler. Just visit rotoballer.com/radio and start rotoballing like a boss. This podcast is also brought to you by Parlay Play Fantasy Sports. Use my referral code RotoBrady. Get that sweet, sweet deposit bonus. They got paid contests coming to a state near you, giving out boosts and bonuses all day long. Check it out. It's a real fun platform over there. And what is up, everybody? This is Brady Grove bringing you another interlude episode of RotoBaller's official MMA podcast. Tap that. Folks, UFC off week. I'm back from vacation. We got the UFC coming back next week. All of that stuff, business as usual. Again, follow me on Twitter at RotoBrady. Follow the podcast at Tap That MMA Podcast on YouTube and Spotify. But folks, you know that I love the world of spring football, alternative professional football, small school football, people looking to break into the professional ranks. And with me today, this guy actually started off his career at Virginia Tech, made his way to Lafayette, ended out at Robert Morris. He was on the FCS Bowl rosters, the Tropical Bowl. He is a name on many people's, I would say, under the radar list. Give it up for Carl Smith. Carl, thank you so much for being here. How's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for inviting me, man. Excited for the opportunity, man.
Oh, for sure, dude. These are the kind of conversations I love. And real quick, as much as I'll say about it, as a proud graduate from the University of Kentucky and the University of Kentucky Law School, shout out to your sister Faith, who was an All-American.
Yes, sir.
So that's one for Big Blue Nation. But Carl, one thing I always love to talk about when it comes to people who make their way to college sports is what I think is such a flawed recruiting and rating system for people coming out of high school. You were listed as a 0-star recruit by 247 Sports coming out of high school. And it's so crazy. There's so many athletes out there. There's so many states so many great athletes. And this isn't the first that we've seen it. We see so many people slip through the cracks. What do you think led to you being considered to be a 0-star recruit coming out of high school? And what do you think are the reasons that people like yourself end up slipping through the cracks?
To start off, it's a big business, and I feel like a lot of high school kids and younger guys, they don't really know the bigger picture when it comes to recruiting and college football and the whole football world in general, So me being a 0-star recruit coming out of high school was, I'm not going to say super out of this world for me because I know it's a lot of big guys, a lot of big names, but it's more about the grind at that point. It's more about what you're willing to do to get seen, how many camps you're going to travel to, like what you're willing to sacrifice to be in front of these scouts and coaches, and also what you do with your opportunity. A lot of guys don't get that many opportunities. So when you do get your chance, you just got to make the most of it. And I did that being a 0-star recruit, and I still found a way to get some scholarships, go play college football, compete with the best.
And I love that you mentioned the business of it because it's the part that, the business of everything seems to mess with the purity of everything,
For sure. It's all about money.
So crazy because there is a dude who went to my high school in Northern Kentucky. You might even remember he was supposed to replace Cam Newton at Auburn. His name is Zeke Pike.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where he ended up as an ESPN top 150 recruit, basically because of 2 days of football that he played. 7 from 7. It's the craziest thing. And then I guess it always helps to just fit the mold of what people think they're looking for.
100%.
And you play basketball and they just think that you're super athletic and stuff. It's the weirdest stuff that people that have been in these sports for so long end up looking for.
Nah, 100%. I agree. And, it's like I said, it's politics and business. Like guys think there's an ideal look, ideal fit, but like I tell all young guys who are going through that process right now, just keep working. No matter you too small, they say you too slow. Just keep putting in the work every day, and if you're good, somebody will find you. So that's just always been my mindset, and now I'm carrying it into my pro career.
And so, with that being the case, and with you being a Pennsylvania guy, how was it that you originally ended up in Blacksburg?
Um, Really, Adam Lechtenberg, he's the head coach at Central Connecticut State right now. He's a recruiter at Virginia Tech at the time, and great guy, great coach, and he's a hands-on recruiter guy. Like some guys, don't get it wrong, some guys are in that business and looking for the best from all levels. Stars don't matter, There's some great coaches out there who is looking for guys who can play. So I was blessed with the opportunity. Coach from Virginia Tech, all the way down from Blacksburg, came up to Philly, found me, offered me an opportunity, and I just took it and ran with it. Super grateful for that, man.
What was that time like? I mean, that's a proud program with a great fan base that naturally, as a lot of the ACC kind of has like kind of fallen on hard times, but that's one of the great home environments in all of college football.
Yeah, that experience was second to none. I played with guys like Caleb Farley, Christian Darrisaw, Divine Diablo, Raheem Blackshear, Khalil Herbert, Hendon Hooker. Like, yeah, our 2020 roster was super deep. And, just seeing those guys play my first year out of high school was just like, welcome to college football. And what better atmosphere to come into than an atmosphere like that with so many pro guys, such a big stadium, fan attendance, such big history behind it. It was an awesome experience. I'll cherish it forever.
Am I remembering it wrong? At one point in the Virginia Tech quarterback room, in that period you're talking about, wasn't it Hendon Hooker, like Braxton Burmeister, and
And Quincy Patterson, yeah, we were super deep. We had so many names in that room.
didn't get like right transferred like right after that, I think, to like North Dakota State for a year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What a quarterback room that they had.
The roster, top to bottom, we had so many guys. It was awesome.
Could have run a bunch of different like option sets with that group of people. Like those three quarterbacks probably could have rushed for a combined 300 yards every game.
No, 100%, 100%.
So was part of the reason that you end up, I mean, like naturally, I would assume that part of the reason that you end up going to Lafayette after that is like you want to play more. But it was part of the reason also like wanting to be back home in Pennsylvania.
Partially, and that was like the first year that the transfer portal was a thing. Transfer portal is a big thing nowadays, but it was COVID that year. I was a younger guy, I didn't know too much. So it was like, not only do I want to play, but with COVID happening, everyone got a free year. So the guys who were playing like knew regardless what happened this year, they were coming back to play next year. So it was like, damn, doing good. I want to play. But I was a young guy, so I probably could have made different decisions, but I have no regrets. I went to Lafayette and joined a great program. We turned that program around. Started off pretty shaky, but in my final year, we ended up winning a Patriot League championship. So yeah, it was all a part of the experience.
And yeah, anything that you read about you, like especially about your time at Lafayette, is how your leadership skills and your football IQ really started to show through when you were at Lafayette. I've seen it in like four different places where people, like, yeah, his leadership like really started to blossom at Lafayette. How did that like? Is that something that's always kind of been like in you and always been kind of a role that you've been asked to fulfill or that you ended up fulfilling or what was kind of the situation there?
For me, I feel like I got a contagious personality, and a lot of guys like they come towards me. Like I bring great energy every day. I come to work every day. I talk a lot. I have fun, but I'm like to lead by example. You know what I mean? I let my work do all the talking. So guys, they build around that. So when I got the opportunity to be a team captain and put the team really under my wing, like I'm happy that we blossomed and really became like a unit under my personality, under my team, under what I am. And I instilled that in the team and we won. That was fire.
It's a weird thing too, man. Like in this era of NIL and the transfer portal, which you were pretty much there for like the beginning of the insanity and like yeah, I mean, because I bring it up all the time. Like when they said like, all right, players can now make money on their name, image, and likeness. Everybody was like, all right, so like Diane Williamson, like that's who we're kind of thinking of with this.
Right.
If you pay, and then the next day it was like, never mind, this actually affects every single person.
Everybody wants to get paid.
It's like with your personality, like you're talking about. I think that that is such an important thing to set you apart from so many other people because there's so many
100%.
other people that are 18, 19, 20 years old, and what they've been used to their entire college career is them being like a business brand, like
100%.
constantly being like on the phone talking about doing, local restaurant commercials and stuff, and people are calling you, offering you, 200,000 to go to another school. I don't know what that does to people's head. I certainly don't know what it would have done to my head, like in any situation, if I was 18 to 19 and that was my life.
Nah, for sure. It's
Uh,
definitely like a lot with all that money, like being at such a young age. You just got to really trust on your upbringing and trust like the people around you. Surround yourself with good people so you know what to do when you get those opportunities and how to make longevity when you're getting that money so young and how to carry yourself as a man, even though you're getting that money as a kid. You know what I mean?
And so when you were at Lafayette, you mentioned that you guys end up winning the Patriot League, and I believe it was Lafayette's first appearance in the
Yes, sir.
playoffs. So for those of us out there that have been fans of the FCS playoffs for years, and it took the rest of college football fandom so long to realize that four teams is not a playoff. That's
Not for sure.
that's an invitational. The FCS playoffs are amazing. What was it like to be able to be a part of that?
It's a whole different atmosphere. FCS football is some of the best football. Even though it's a smaller school, a lot of less known guys, those guys play with a chip on their shoulder because everyone wants to prove themselves. Everyone wants to go out there and treat it like they're playing Alabama on Saturday. So when you get to these later games in the season, playoff opportunities, it's the big stage. This is big as any other stage across any other level. Every guy's out there trying to compete. Every guy's playing for their brother. Every guy's trying to move on to the next round.
And there's like no games that I look forward to more in college football, like outside of like any big Kentucky games, naturally. But like Alabama, LSU, like that'll like I'm so over that at this. It's it's like it's like Yankees Red Sox. It's like how many times can I see this thing play out and see people talk about the same stuff for 4 hours at a time? And it's like, but Montana State versus Montana, the Brawl of the Wild, North Dakota
Yeah.
State versus South Dakota State, any of that. I think the FCS has probably like three of maybe the top 10 college football rivalries. FBS,
Even
yes.
Lafayette College versus Lehigh, that's the oldest rivalry in college football. And me playing in that game is like awesome every year. Last year, Lehigh won after the game. They carried the field goal like 4 miles to a river or something. Like the fans are in it. Like the fans love FCS football.
That's the best thing. And like to that point, like pretty much anybody that you just mentioned playing like Holy Cross. I don't know what it is about Holy Cross. Holy Cross just inspires like rivalry feelings, it seems like.
Not for sure. When you go up in that environment, I played there a few times. Those guys, they take it serious. That's a good football program.
So then you go to Robert Morris. What kind of motivated the transition from Lafayette to Robert Morris?
I had just finished up my degree at Lafayette College, and I took a semester, my last semester before that fall season. I spent my last college semester abroad. I did a journey in Greece for like 4 months.
Oh,
So after that, I was like thinking about my professional career after my degree, what I want to do. And I was in transfer portal, like exploring if I wanted to come back and play football. After missing a whole spring with the team, it's going to be different. So I was kind of put in a position where like I can get my degree and go to work or find another place to play football. So I got my experience overseas, was blessed with another opportunity to come back over here and play football. And Robert Morris was amazing. He opened arms, welcomed me. It had one of the best teams since I think 2019. And it was good. A lot of different guys came in and we competed together. I had a great time there.
even thinking about like Robert Morris football, it just makes me mad that NKU does not have a football team because
Yeah, that's crazy.
I actually started a petition that I've passed around the internet for a few years now. People don't realize like you as a school you really risk falling behind in this era without that revenue stream. And
Especially because football is loved by everybody, and colleges like surround that. Every college can get behind the football team.
imagine in 40 years if NKU was to start a football team, what a non-conference game against the UC Bearcats could end up being like.
No, for sure.
It's in basketball. It's a great game that those schools are separated by about 15 minutes. I live in between those two places. Uh, uh, But here's the thing, like looking at your game logs from both Lafayette and Robert Morris, like there were games where like for whatever reason, they just weren't necessarily like calling your number as much, but the
Hmm.
games where they were, like the impact was fantastic. Like when it was time for you to show out, you always did. Like several games like where you see like 80 yards and a touchdown on a handful of receptions. But even the games where, they were spreading the love a little bit more, your yards, all your metrics for yards after the catch, yards per reception, all of those were fantastic.
Yes, sir. I averaged through my entire college career 9.5 yards per catch. This past season at Robert Morris, I averaged 18.5 yards per catch. I mean, that's a part of the business. You can't, it's not good to be a team player who's like, I always want the ball, but me playing wide receiver, a position where you rely on everybody else, it just goes however it goes. And you feel me? I've always been a team first guy, so I've never been the one to be like, hey guys, I need the ball. But whenever my number is called, I'm always the guy that's going to step up. And I feel like I've proved that my whole college career. Like whenever I get the opportunity, I'm gonna make the most of it.
And the crazy thing too, like in any of the scouting reports that I see about you, one of the things that always comes up is diversity of route running.
For
And
sure.
like mentions all over of like, the comparisons to you and like Jarvis Landry. And watching your highlight reels, like it's so poignant, the diversity of route running. It like you turn short plays into bigger games, you take
For
deeper
sure.
plays. And another thing they always say about you is like you do not shy away from physicality, and that is very clear from your highlight reel as well.
Nah, for sure. I'm a wide receiver who loves to get down and block. Like I ain't no pretty fancy diva wide receiver. I'm down to go get in there and block a linebacker, go get a safety. And I'm aggressive when the ball is in the air. So whatever route I'm running, like whenever the ball is in the air, it's mine. Whether it's short, deep, like I'm just a top competitor. That's the best way to describe my game. I'm a competitor. Or any route, I'm a win. Anytime the ball in the air, I'm a win. Like I'm here to prove it. I'm a win.
The highlight reels of your blocks are awesome. Like people like weren't expecting it like to be as physical as it was. You could tell. You could tell that like, there was some shell shock in there, like when they were getting up off the ground.
Nah, 100%. Like me working my craft so much with my route running and being able to mix it in with my blocking abilities. Like sometimes I'll just give them a release, like I'm running a release for a route, but I'm blocking. I'm going to run through your chest. I'm trying to put you in the dirt every play. Because like you said, I didn't get the ball a lot. So whenever I got the opportunity to get on film or put something on tape, I'm gonna make sure you see me on the tape. Like I'm gonna block somebody on the ground to make sure I'm noticed. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to make sure I'm seen.
And another thing that it like weighs heavily in your favor is also the experience in returning. Now,
For sure.
the other issue, like it's it's kind of lame, man, because like the so many of these leagues are going away from cool kickoffs like that
Nah, for
really
sure.
let people like get the most out of kicks. And the UFL has done it this year. It was something I was not a fan of, where people like to see big kickoff returns,
For
and
sure.
people also like to see people get absolutely creamed on big kickoff as part of the fun. The NFL did it. But that's the thing too, is like it's such a big part of indoor and arena football. Like you could score 70 points a game, like in special teams. And
Special teams is important for sure. And like you said, that implement on the game is definitely like a safety protocol. But I grew up on kick return football where I've been on special teams. I've been the guy where you gotta block it, block. That's a part of the game. That's what we was raised on. But for the safety factor, I understand it. But you just gotta mean the returners have to be more shifty, have to be more creative with the ball. It's just you gotta do what you gotta do when you get that opportunity.
I would just like to see maybe some concrete data that actually supports that it is a safety factor.
Or
Like
something, yeah, because it was definitely a fast, rapid change. It came out of
all
nowhere.
assumed that that was the case, but like it still seems to be like people are getting like it,
Hurt.
more people get hit.
It's football.
Like it's also weird too because like where do we draw that line? As I mentioned before, this is like I'm big into combat sports. I don't see
Hmm.
these things being implemented in boxing. Ban left hooks because people could get hurt. Like it's a very weird
It's a
sport.
part of it. It's a part of the game. We feel like it's a part of it.
But no, I like. it's a crazy thing because we have seen like a lot of professional football organizations of all different kinds of levels. It's like that they've gone more towards specialty type of people.
Hmm.
Yet people will freak out for a little bit, like trying to find the next Taysom Hill and like trying to find the next Ertz.
For sure.
Yeah, like I've never understood why a Swiss Army knife type of player on offense is not more popular at all levels.
I feel like a lot of those Swiss Army knife guys are Swiss Army knives because not only their abilities, but their football IQ and their knowledge. Like you said, Taysom Hill, he can get in there. He can play quarterback, tight end. They might put him in the slot for a play if they want, you know. So that also makes you a Swiss Army knife. Just knowing the game plan week to week, like, and they can move you all across the offense, and you become more of a gadget player because you can be used in many ways.
My God, like just look at Kentucky football. How many quarterbacks have we put in the NFL as wide receivers? I can count,
Nah, for
count at least two. Like I can't believe there's not a space for Lynn Bowden somewhere in the professional football
and
ranks.
he's nice. He was amazing at Kentucky. He was a guy.
And yeah, and so he's a guy that like I think he was with the DC Defenders for like a very very short period of time this year. But I don't understand necessarily how like maybe that guy's just trying to find like his way back into the NFL and isn't like trying to
100%.
around. But it always helps to like keep playing, you know, and keep
For
your
sure.
name on people's mouths and whatnot. But anyway, on to the future for you. And this is also kind of like a thing about the whole state of professional football because American football is as popular around the world now, more so than it's ever been. To the point, like, not only because everybody in America is somewhat familiar with the fact that the CFL exists.
For
Um,
sure.
I am very aware of the UFL. I don't know outside of my bubble exactly how many people are super aware of it, but like their business model seems to be as stable as ever. There's at least three high level arena slash indoor football leagues just in the United States. There's Mexican professional football, German professional football, X League in Japan, and then the European League of Football,
For
which
sure.
is, you know, we Reed Sennett is currently the quarterback of the Madrid Bravos, and he was third string for the Bengals a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, right now, as you're assessing your options in football moving forward, how much, especially for a guy like that, you know, ended up going to Europe for a little bit and checking it out, you know, after
Yeah.
undergrad, how much of those world prospects are you kind of taking a look at and seeing if that could be the right fit for you?
Honestly, all of them, like they're like you said, there's so many different leagues and there's so many different opportunities for guys like myself. It's just awesome. The state of football becoming more global is just amazing for athletes in its own. So the UFL is a big staple, especially for guys in this recent class as the UFL is trying to build something bigger. I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for new guys going for different opportunities, whether it be Europe, Japan, arena. Like, if you want to keep playing ball, there's opportunities out there for you. So, yeah, and it just keeps on growing. They keep on bringing new guys in, like, keep it flowing, keep the game growing. And it's only can be better for the game of football.
And so, like, so I imagine like the balancing act for someone in your position or a similar position is like you want to keep playing football. You know, you want to get tape at the professional level. You don't want to let a period of inactivity go by because by the time that you do, there's a whole other class of people that are going to be
For sure.
as you. At the same time, I'm sure that some people could probably go play semi-professional football, you know, in Trenton, New Jersey or something. But like, how long is the road back to where you maybe want to get to from that point? So, what's the balancing act like for you in trying to manage your interests and where you might end up?
For me, being somebody who I feel like was very close to the NFL door, going to the Tropical Bowl, speaking with teams, you're definitely playing a balancing game. Like you're watching the roster moves from each level. Like the UFL put 10 guys to the NFL this year off just from the last season. So, you know, guys in my position take that in accountability like, okay, that could be the next road path for me. But the CFL has also been doing this for many years before. So it's like definitely start weighing it out because you know it's a number game. You want to take the best opportunity for yourself and you also want to get the best film. And in order to get the best film, you have to play in the better leagues and you have to make those executive decisions. So for me, it's more like I'm talking to all of them, and whoever is going to give me the best opportunity to get some more film to go to the next level, I'm there. But at the end of the day, I'm here for anybody. I'm in no position to turn any opportunity down. So you just got to keep working.
It's like I had a dude on here named Tyler Kolka who was a quarterback, I believe the Division three. It was either NAIA or Division three, and he ended up
Hmm.
2 years in the X League over in Japan. And this past season, he had a phenomenal year for the Nashville Cats in the AF1, formerly the
That's
Arena.
awesome.
And it's like, the thing is, like, opportunities are opportunities, but ultimately, with whatever opportunity you get, you do have to capitalize on it.
100%. That's really what it's about. Because, like, being a free agent, you see guys who are on NFL rosters and then they're not, and they get calls off the couch. Like, they'll be on their couch in their living room, feet kicked up. Hey, we need you in camp tomorrow. So, definitely got to make the most of every opportunity while you're still trying to keep your career going because you never know what opportunity will be your last.
It's so crazy too that like the situation that you just described happens, and like you see it with people that like have bounced around to 1,000 different NFL teams for one
Hmm.
camp invites, practice squad might be. And it's crazy to me that, you know, there's always this like rotate, there's this carousel in professional sports of all levels where it's just like, all right, like, how about this dude that we at least know, like, knows how to get in the building and everything?
Right.
Explain that. It seems like that's always been a problem in college and professional sports is just like a contagious group think and just like not feeling like they don't have the time maybe to think outside the box.
For sure. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'm like really hyper focused on spreading the cause because the at UFL is a lot of place for guys who were in the NFL and didn't make it, or guys who got the practice squad invite, or the fallback plan, guys who did it. But there's a whole class of guys from smaller schools who have just as much talent, can bring the league just as much recognition as those guys. So it's not like we have to keep rotating these same guys. I mean, of course, I would love to see them get the opportunity, but there's guys playing in these FCS schools who would kill for the opportunity. And, it's just being rotated between the same guys is just like, all right, hopefully this year there's a change and we could bring in some new talent, get some new names on the board, get some new games in the mix to go to the NFL versus rotating the same guys and sending guys back up and back down and back up.
And so another thing is like naturally every player has perceived strengths and weaknesses when they're being
Hmm.
assessed by any professional teams. What do you think are right now the biggest areas of improvement that you're looking to shore up as you're looking for these opportunities?
For me, like it's just staying sharp because a lot of guys who are going through this process of being an undrafted free agent, that's discouraging for a lot of guys. Like you have to stay in the gym every day. The same fire that you had before the draft and working out, you need to carry that. And right now is the hardest time to carry that torch. So for me, it's just staying, keeping my head high, not being discouraged by anything, putting in the same work. Like if I would have got that call, and that's just where it is for me right now. Like staying ready so I don't have to get ready.
Because like especially like in your case, because like what the scouting reports do say about you is like the concerns are just in like what like your like size and current functional strength. Like that's those
Hmm.
just knocks on you right now, and shit, you can work on that pretty easily, like every day.
100%.
Obviously, it's a
100%.
grind, but like that's a way better like improvement point to have than like, yeah, he doesn't know how to run routes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. The things that I could work on is like intangible. I could always get bigger. I can always get a little faster, get a little stronger. And that's a part of pushing yourself every day. So I'm naturally just want to get better, always want to be in the best shape for the opportunity. But aside from that, like you said, I could run a route. My film shooters, I can go out there and block even at my size. And I'm football IQ, I can break down the defense, I can read a defense. So there's not much knocking me, but probably opportunity for me. I feel like every time I did get an opportunity, I made the most of it. But with a little bit more opportunity, would be no question for error or doubt.
And I'm sure this is different for, in every case, but for you right now, going through the process of staying sharp, staying in shape, getting in the best shape that you possibly can be, being ready for whenever there might be a call. What does that day to day look like? Like where are you at right now physically? And, is this just something that you kind of do on your own? Do you have like, a group of people that you're working this with?
For sure. I mean, like you said, this process is hard for a lot of guys because after football, it's real life. Like, honestly, I work a real job in the morning, but my dedication is I go to work out, go to the gym every night. I go to the same trainers I was training with for my per day. I'm still training with them every night. We're still in the gym every night. And that's just my sacrifice. That's my sacrifice. If I still want to do it, I'm going to put in the time no matter what I got going on because the game don't stop until you let it stop. You just got to keep on putting in the work.
And so, do you have representation?
Yes, sir. I'm represented by Andrew Deep. He's a agent, and yeah.
So, what is like? How did you come into initial contact with him? And so, like, what is the daily kind of like? Is there a daily, a weekly, a monthly back and forth between you guys about what's going on?
For sure. I had an agent a little bit before the draft, and I didn't really feel like he did much for me. So I ended up going on LinkedIn. I started building my LinkedIn profile, connecting with NFL GMs and scouts on myself, and I also connected with a lot of agents on there. Went through there, had a lot of conversations, hopped on a lot of phone calls, talked to people. And Deep was a great guy. He goes hard for his players. He's young, eager, excited to get guys opportunities. So I chose him. Great dude. And our simple conversation is, for me, it's every day because I'm looking for opportunity every day. We're checking injury lists from the CFL, NFL, any guy get hurt. I want to know if there's opportunity I can get there. What's the draft looking like for teams coming up this fall for the UFL? What GMs are in contact? Who needs what position at what? Who needs what position at what team? Like, it's every day. Like, feedback because I'm trying to get the best opportunity as soon as possible. And I also want to be in the best position for if the draft time comes. You know what I mean? I want to be ready so I don't have to get ready.
And it is so impressive for someone in his position to be able to build that rapport with you because naturally, as part of what he does, it has to be a volume business. You know,
For sure.
there's a lot of people that he has to represent, and you have to make all those people feel that you are making the effort for them. Otherwise, like they're just watching the time go by and being like, "Man, what the hell am I doing right now?"
And that's 100%. That's another thing that a lot of guys don't know when they're picking representation. Like, that matters. That actually matters so much. Like, it's a slept on, not talked about thing enough for athletes trying to become a professional because with a good agent, you can get your foot in the door a lot easier than other guys. It's literally so, and you, like you said, having a guy that goes hard for you is definitely important because some agents will sign you and they might sign three other receivers, and we're all applying for the same jobs and we're all represented by the same guy. So it's like, it definitely matters. You have to do your homework.
God, that's got to be such a strategic thing on their end too. Is like, oh,
For sure.
we can't like we definitely can't do that. Like we have to invest in somebody that we believe that we can like push to somebody.
No, 100%. Like, when I was asking my agents, when I was going through the interview process, it's like, well, how many guys are you representing total? How many guys are you representing at my position? What kind of receiver is he? Is he a big receiver, specialist receiver? You know what I mean? Like, all of that has to get taken accountability because at the end of the day, even though we're signed to the same agent, we're fighting for the same jobs.
Now, is that something that you're consciously aware of? Is like you're going through this process and like you're looking at like what opportunities there are. You're looking at like maybe where your stock is at if anybody's talking about that or talking about you on Twitter or something like that. But are you like consciously aware of like, yeah, like this is probably like the 5 to 10 dudes that are probably right in the range of me?
100%, especially as this UFL thing is coming, because it's like the UFL isn't for players like me. Then who it's for? Like, I'm a guy that was really close, and I want the opportunity. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep going. Like, it is a conscious thing because every day I want the opportunity. So every day I'm trying to keep my name alive, trying to keep my name buzzing, trying to get opportunity. So yeah, it's an everyday grind for me. It's a part of being a free agent.
And got to be a competitive thing for you too, because you got to know a lot of these guys' names from your FCS days and from playing FCS bowl and try like you know who these dudes are.
Especially when the rookie minicamp invites went out, and it was like, dang, I seen this guy get the invite. Like, you know what I mean? You're watching everything. You're watching everything. I'm watching everything.
Oh man. Well, Carl, thank you so much for being here tonight. This has been a ton of fun. Now, folks, you can follow Carl on Twitter at Carl Deuce. I would encourage you to follow him on all social media. I would also encourage you to check out his highlights that he has pinned right now to the top of his
Yes, sir.
profile. ton of fun, and keep an eye out for his name, in the coming months for whatever might happen, because there's thousands of
There's no for sure, for sure.
And so, Carl, if there is anything that else that you want to say, anything you want to say to any potential, scouts that may, I hope, happen upon this episode, anybody you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
Uh, Really, to message to any scouts looking for me is I'm ready. I'm ready. I got a chip on my shoulder, and I'm ready to prove it. It's not really any words. I can show you a lot better than I can tell you. From this point, like it's not really much for me to say. Just give me the opportunity. I'm gonna come to any franchise and be ready, make them proud. Friends will love me, and let's do it.
That should be like a T-shirt that you sell. Is like I'd rather show you, not tell you, because
For sure.
that embodies your entire career, I think.
I feel it.
Well, folks, thank you so much for listening to another episode, another interlude episode of RotoBaller's official MMA podcast. Tap that again. The UFC on hiatus. We'll be back next week. We're back to business as usual. I love to fit in episodes like this whenever I can. Thank you so much for listening. Have yourselves a great week. Enjoy the 4th of July, and peace.